So there's this girl, Mackenzie Shirilla, just 17 years old from the Cleveland area, was convicted of murder for causing a deadly car crash. The incident claimed the lives of her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and his friend Davian Flanagan. Prosecutors argued that this was no accident, but a deliberate act stemming from a toxic relationship. Here's how it went down. One day, Mackenzie's driving around Cleveland with her boyfriend Dominic and his buddy Davian. Sounds normal enough, right? But in Mackenzie's head, something dark was brewing. She had death on her mind. Evidence suggested that Shirilla had made violent threats against her boyfriend and even plotted the crash days before. The prosecutor stated,
"The intent was obvious upon seeing that video that there was only one goal. You see her driving very calmly and making the right turn, and then all evidence indicates she immediately put the pedal to the metal and drove straight into a building at 100 miles per hour.
Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder."
I think those really demonstrated to us that this was no accident. In court, a tearful Shirilla expressed remorse.
I'm Dom and Davia. I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm
The
heartbroken.
judge found her guilty on 2 counts of murder. As Shirilla stood to be handcuffed, the judge declared, Count 1 finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder of Dominic Russo. Count 2 finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder of Davian Flanagan. Shirilla was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison for each count, to be served concurrently. The judge noted, "There's a very good likelihood, Mackenzie, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison." The court emphasized that there was no medical condition that caused this as an accident, no mechanical failure of the car, and that a failed suicide attempt is not a defense to murder. Okay, now let's talk about a case that'll really mess with your head. It happened in this small town in Iowa, where 2 16-year-olds, Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, were charged with the murder of their high school Spanish teacher, Nohama Graber. By all accounts, she was a good person, you know? But Miller got a bad grade in her class at Fairfield High School in southeastern Iowa, and instead of asking for help like a normal kid, they decided to kill her. Kill their teacher over a grade. Yeah, it was real. Miller confessed to the crime, describing in detail.
We discussed general plan. I'll stand up here, look out, wait for Miss Graber to show up.
These boys, they knew Mrs. Graber took walks in Chautauqua City Park, so they waited for her there.
Here she comes, and she walked by and hit her in the back of the head, and then I said, "Holy shit, make sure she's dead." So we hit her a couple more times.
The boys dragged Graber into the woods and beat her to death with a baseball bat.
What was the plan after that? There wasn't really a plan beyond that. Like hide the body, bury the body, save the body. At that time, we were going to hide the body. I guess in our arrogance, we kind of assumed that nobody would ever find her.
But they couldn't keep their mouths shut. They were sending Snapchat messages about it. One of them actually wrote, "Point of view, you're my Spanish teacher, and this is the last thing you see," followed by "Time to hide a body." Goodale pled guilty and testified against Miller. Before sentencing, Goodale expressed remorse.
I want to say I'm grateful for this chance to speak my piece. I offer my sincerest apologies to the Graber family, but I know my words will never be enough. I've had time to think on what to say, and I'm sorry, truly sorry.
Miller also apologized.
I would like to apologize for my actions. First and foremost, to the family, I'm sincerely sorry for the distress that I've caused you and the devastation I've caused your family.
The judge sentenced Goodale to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Miller received a harsher sentence, life with the possibility of parole after 35 years. Observers noted that Miller seemed to be completely shocked by the sentence. Okay, let me tell you about Aiden Fucci. Man, this case, it's messed up. This is Aiden Fucci, who pleaded guilty in court for the murder of his classmate when he was only 14 years old. After his arrest, Fucci displayed a shocking lack of remorse. He was seen taking Snapchats in the back of a police car saying,
"Having fun in a cop car."
Yep.
Fucci was classmates with a 13-year-old girl from Patriot Oaks Academy in St. Johns County, Florida. Fucci, who was 14 at the time of the crime, He didn't just stab her once or twice in some rage. No, this was brutal. We're talking about 114 stab wounds. Her body was later found in the woods near their school, Patriot Oaks Academy. He is really psycho, and his behavior continued in the interrogation room, where his parents scolded him.
That Snapchat that you did was not very smart.
It's all over. You're all over the internet, everywhere. Social media.
It is on social media. You'll probably come stay with me after we get done with this, just for your well, safe being.
This is serious, man.
It's very serious.
This is no joke. This is your whole life. Your whole life.
And hers.
And ours. And your brothers and sisters. And don't forget they can't go to school tomorrow.
Why?
Because the kids will hurt them.
Prosecutors presented surveillance video showing Fucci and the victim walking together shortly before the murder. Approximately 90 minutes later, footage captured him running from the area where her body was found. The post-mortem disclosed the horrific extent of the attack: 114 stab wounds, including 49 defensive wounds, 35 wounds to the head and neck, 29 to the back and shoulder, and 6 fatal wounds. Fucci pled guilty to first-degree murder. Having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, the judge has sentenced him to life in prison.
I sentence you to life in prison. Because of your age, you are eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years.
Observers noted that after being sentenced, Fucci stood still with minimal movement. In another shocking case, which sounds more like a horror movie than real life, Rachel Schoaf and Sheila Eddy were convicted for the murder of their 16-year-old friend, Skylar Neese, in Star City, West Virginia, because they no longer liked Neese. But we're not talking about just ghosting her. These girls took it to a whole new level. They actually sat down and planned out how to kill Skylar. I'm not kidding. 2 teenage girls plotting murder like it's no big deal. Their plan was to hide knives on their bodies and attack Skylar at an agreed-upon moment. They carried out this plan, stabbing and killing Skylar in a premeditated act of violence that shocked their community. Schoaf confessed to the crime and agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for her cooperation in the case against Eddy. In court, Schoaf expressed deep remorse.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if there's a proper way to make this apology, because there are not even words to describe the guilt and remorse that I feel each day for what I've done. The person that did that was not the real me, not the person I am, not what I'm made of, and not what I believe in. I hurt the Neese family and those who love Skylar. I hurt my parents and shamed my family. I hurt my extended family and all of my friends who loved me. I hurt my teachers and those who believed in me. May God bring eternal peace to Skylar and the entire Neese family. Again, I'm so sorry, and I pray each day for everyone involved, and I pray each day for forgiveness.
The judge sentenced Schoaf, stating,
"The offense of murder in the second degree, the felony charged in the prosecutor's information in this case, it is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for a period of 30 years.
But she will have the possibility of parole in 10 years. For Eddy, who did not cooperate, the sentence was more severe. The judge declared,
Murder in the first degree, upon your plea of guilty, it is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for the rest of your natural life.